Raptors edge the Pacers 119-118 for their 12th straight win. Nuggets over the Jazz 98-95. Nikola Jokic 31 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists for Denver. Celtics take care of the Magic 116-100. Grizzlies have won 13 of 16 after beating the Mavericks in Dallas 121-107. And behind Trae Young's 38 points, the Hawks hand the Timberwolves their 13th straight loss 127-120. I'm Eddie Garcia.
K105 weather is brought to you by the 3 Grayson County locations of the Sicilian Bank.
Highs warm into the upper 30s and the low 40s this afternoon as we continue to deal with some drizzle, plenty of clouds, and even a few light rain showers. Later on this evening, we're going to be watching the radar for some snow pushing into the region. These will last into early Friday. Accumulations are possible. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
Is in the know for Thursday, February 6th, the 37th day of 2020. 9 days left in the year. Good morning, MB, guiding you through In the Know at K105. On Litchfield's Country Station, 103.9 The Moose. Live online at K105.com. Via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud or iTunes podcast. On Facebook, watch on YouTube Live on Periscope. The hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we are going to update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, Commonwealth, and the country. The president is speaking this morning about proceedings yesterday. We'll tell you about what happened in the U.S. Senate yesterday and where do we go from here. Also, a busy week in the state legislature in Frankfort. Several bills being talked about in Frankfort that are making people talk. And we will have today's water cooler question. It'll be your chance to win that and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Settling into my left, rolling Mach 9 with her hair on fire, is my beautiful wife, the beautiful girl. It's Beach. Good morning, sweetheart.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay, but I'm feeling today. It's kind of like, meh.
Because it's cloudy and such. Well,
out.
We'll talk about the what you can look forward to in the forecast coming up. You're not religious about having breakfast every day, right?
No.
I mean, sometimes you sort of take it in spurts, I suppose. The most popular breakfast foods in the United States are, what would you pick if you had to pick one thing for breakfast?
For me?
Yes.
It would be a Saturday morning that I make a fried egg and a piece of toast.
Eggs are at the top of the list in the United States, followed by sausage, bacon, pancakes. Bacon and pancakes actually tied for third. Then toast, waffles, avocado, cereal, and breakfast sandwiches. Sounds about right, yeah?
Yeah.
Pretty common items
agree.
on there. Absolutely. She's the pride of Pumpkin Center, the heiress to the great mini burger fortune. She's Vera Wang's arch nemesis and the professional bargain hunter's woman of the year. She's Misty Embry Thomas. Hey. How's Misty?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's your favorite breakfast food?
I love cereal.
Cereal?
I'm just a cereal eater. But if I'm having like hot breakfast, I want gravy and biscuits.
Yeah, I'm a Cheerios guy. I just eat Cheerios
yeah.
because I need something for breakfast, and that seems reasonable and, heart healthy. And this time of year, if you buy Cheerios, as a surprise, when you open up the box, they're shaped like hearts. Did you all know that?
That's fun.
Yeah. During Heart Month and then during the month of love, Cheerios are shaped like hearts.
Makes sense.
Well, and they're also doing something. They're sending seeds out for wildflowers because they're Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah?
In support of bees.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I may have
Have
to
you all
look
not
at that.
seen that?
No, I don't eat
okay.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
I do. We have a, yeah. Well, I introduced them
We have
to
a small
the
person
less
that
than
does.
2-year-old niece, and she carried the whole box home. She loved them so much. Aunt Misty gave her the unopened box, and she took it gladly, and she enjoys her Honey Nut Cheerios.
I
Little
take
kids like them.
I take my Cheerios neat with skim milk. Pretty simple. Pour it in a bowl, pour a little skim milk,
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
Sounds terrible, Mark.
Get ready. I didn't say it was great. I just said that's what I have.
It's
A super snow moon will appear over the weekend. I asked Misty, I asked you earlier this week if you were prepared to be mooned this weekend, and I think you said no, but you're going to get mooned anyway. It's called the super snow moon. Per the Old Farmer's Almanac, the best time to see the moon will be Saturday, as it will rise in the east and reach its highest point around midnight. The moon is said to reach peak fullness at 2:34 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. So 1:34 a.m. Eastern Time, Central Time. Sunday morning is when it will be at its best. It's called the snow moon because the moon's movement was used to track the changing seasons in ancient times, and February is commonly associated with heavy snowfall.
okay.
Speaking of snowfall, we'll talk about some in just a moment. Go ahead and my apologies in advance to dispatchers and first responders. The school teachers may dodge a bullet this time because the full moon is going to be on the weekend. So maybe
Rest for you.
it'll be a little easier on the teachers, but the dispatchers and the EMTs and the paramedics and the police officers and firefighters.
ER staff.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be.
We're sorry.
You know how people act. Let's see. Weather-wise, drizzle and light rain will last through the morning. Temperatures will struggle into the upper 30s and low 40s this afternoon. Cloudy skies will remain, and then be ready. Snow showers will roll into this region of the country this evening and continue overnight. Accumulations are expected, but now don't go crazy, folks. We're talking about maybe 1.5 inches tonight into tomorrow. I think just enough to...
Annoy me.
It will be annoying to most of us. You'll see it, but it may cause some slick spots. But can I just say, I think, and I don't mean Grayson County specifically, but I think schools, they're anxious to pull the trigger on a snow day.
Yeah, like we get one a year, so at least give us our one.
I
right?
think that they're now you've got.
I mean, you deserve
You got
one,
communities like Edmonson County who have missed some days because of flu,
Illness.
but by and large, if you haven't been dealing with illness, you got a lot of people going, well, when are we going to get a snow day?
When do we get a day
So
off by surprise?
I am just thinking that what did I tell you this morning, honey? I don't want to say here's what I'm saying, but I'll just ask you, what did I say this morning?
Don't be surprised if she doesn't have school tomorrow.
That's right.
I
said
kind of looked at you funny a little bit.
My point is, it's just not going to take a lot for people to go, snow day.
My thing is, I have to ask you, and I didn't ask you this morning, is it something that I can drive in? Because you
Absolutely.
know that
You can absolutely drive in it.
You get an option because I was told get here when it snows.
No, he just puts me in his vehicle.
Well,
I mean,
it's you drive or me drive. It's not a should we not drive.
We actually had a performance management meeting once about my driving in the snow and getting to the station for news coverage. He said you're going to have to learn to be more aggressive driver in the snow.
And what did you do?
Learn to be a more aggressive driver in the snow.
Your attendance is pretty good. There have been.
I just needed the encouragement. It's like, oh, that's where I'm failing. Okay.
I've had to maybe pick you up
I was just
twice.
saying, no, you do come when it's really bad.
2 times ever. Maybe I've had to pick you up. Yeah.
But he's always said that if you need to be picked up,
I know
he
when
will do that.
I know when the roads are, and I have driven in some really bad conditions, but I know when they're scary bad. I get a text from Mark that says, "I'm on my way to get you," and I'm like, "Okay, he's decided that it's not safe for me to be on the roads."
You just need to not do it.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, and I really don't
Coming
want to
in
be
the
in this. Yeah. In the
Hey,
car.
hey, the president is still the president.
Hey, I was going to tell you this morning. Guess who's our president?
Donald Trump is still the president after he got Mitt Romney in the U.S. Senate yesterday. He's the only. By the way, in history, he is Mitt Romney is now the only person to ever vote against someone of your own party in an acquittal trial,
You know,
in an impeachment trial.
I watched his interview, and I can appreciate his own conviction and principles and sticking with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you admittedly know your family's going to be harassed.
Absolutely. But here's what I would like to say, and we'll get to this in just a moment when it comes to Amy McGrath and her statement. Did Mitt Romney listen to the people of Utah? Like, how much did Mitt Romney take into consideration who he was there representing?
Right.
It's one thing for your conscience, and it's one thing but you appear, because you didn't get the job that you wanted in the administration, that suddenly your conscience is much more clear and right. If he feels that way, then fine. It just seems a little convenient for me that he was the only one who has the conscience on the matter.
Is this him ripping up the speech moment?
This is a "you didn't make me Secretary of State."
Right, that's what I'm saying. So this is his speech ripping moment.
What this is. Another timeline that was interesting, that some dots that were connected for me yesterday, was if you go back to the day that the Mueller investigation ended, within 48 hours, this investigation started about Ukraine.
Right.
And that even more confirms to me that this is part of a long game that they're playing to overturn the results of the 2016 election.
I mean, like, Russia didn't work out, Ukraine didn't work out. Are we moving into, like, African territory? I mean, which continent are we on now that we're going to start investigating to see if we can't get rid of our president?
Old Jerry Nadler, Mr. Equator Pants, he said yesterday the investigation continues on. Right?
Into what? Like, where are we headed?
Whatever. They'll kick
throw
over
a dart on the map and let's figure it out.
any old rock they can kick over.
Turkey.
They're gonna kick
Right.
over.
Where are we headed?
It will be interesting to see. I don't know that the president's going to be reelected in the fall. As of yesterday, it looked much more likely, but there's a lot of road to travel between now and then. But if he is reelected in the fall, go back to Tuesday night and then go to yesterday's vote, and there's your answer. There's why. You'll have Nancy Pelosi and Shifty Schiff really to thank for solidifying the base to the point that people got emotional and said, let's reelect him.
Yeah.
Because of their actions. So we'll see. Now, Amy McGrath said she would have voted to convict President Trump in the Senate. She said that there was, she's condemned the president's acquittal. She said the evidence was overwhelming. Does she know where she's running? That would be the question that I would offer to Amy McGrath. You're, by the way, now it's a little different for you. You're running in the entire state of Kentucky. You're not running in just the district that involves Lexington and Richmond. You're seeking to represent all of Kentucky in the U.S. Senate, and I think you should be very careful about saying how you would have voted if you've not actually talked to the constituents that you're looking to represent.
I'm just saying, you get us. We are coming. We're a package deal.
There are moderate Republicans who are tired of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell that would be looking for an alternative. I personally think it's a foolish decision to do that, but there are some people that will, and that's fine. That's their right. But they are pro-Trump, but might be tired of McConnell. So that move, by her coming out and saying, I would have voted to find him guilty, you're sort of you're sawing off a branch that you were on, that you may need those people come in, in the fall. So I guess if I were her, I think I'd have just low key it,
Just be glad you
busy
weren't
on the
involved
phone.
in the debacle.
Sorry,
Right.
I would like to answer your question, but busy on the phone.
I didn't watch the trial. I've been campaigning, so I can't give an adequate answer.
Nose to the grindstone.
Yeah,
Nose to the
no.
grindstone. Got it.
Focused.
All right, so busy time in Frankfurt. We don't have a whole lot of time to dig in deep on these issues, but I'm going to kind of approach them in the order of which I think they're making people talk today.
Okay.
All right? A bill banning corporal punishment in Kentucky schools has passed through a House Education Committee. Kentucky is one of 19 states in the nation that continues to allow paddling and other forms of corporal punishment in schools as a form of discipline. Yesterday, Actually, on Tuesday, House Bill 22 passed through the House Education Committee. If the bill is signed into law, it would prohibit anyone employed by a Kentucky school district from using corporal punishment or any form of physical discipline. Basically, no more paddling. So is this where we are in 2020? Are we? I mean,
like it.
There's kind of an ideology shift on spanking, the use of spanking at home even. And so they had a really good discussion on KSR yesterday. Matt Jones, Ryan Lemon, Shannon the Dude. And it was interesting. The two people who didn't have children came down squarely on spanking should not be allowed.
Yep.
One person that does have children said, well, I think spanking, plays a part. It needs to be a resource that you go to, which I thought, well, that's pretty revealing. Mm-hmm. And I think if you lined people up and you'd say, hey, as a parent, I think I want to make that decision for me. Didn't we, for a long time, sign notes at school that
Absolutely.
said you could or you couldn't?
I did. And I signed mine in favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
was the whip 'em.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I can argue
Go
both
ahead.
sides of that. I had a child that spanking did not work. And the more that we would try to spank that child would just lash out and try to hit at us. And I realized this is not working. This is being counterproductive. We had another child that got spanked one time and never, ever, ever. You have to know your children. But I think you need to do your due diligence if you're going to spank, and you need to be trained on how to properly dole out punishment, that the child is understanding why they're receiving punishment. And then you need to have the proper framework in place. And there's a lot of great training out there.
Like with a lot of things, I think that also I would point out that if you know about yourself that you are prone to rage issues, you probably need to check that one. You probably need to put that one over there and put it in the toolbox and lock the toolbox up. And then it's like, that might be your last resort, because that's the thing about becoming physical, is that rage has a tendency to set in. And
You don't spank out of rage.
That's right. It doesn't.
You spank out of the rules. Rules were clearly given. Rules were broken. But I'm going to come down and say this. I'm going to say, just don't spank, because most of you are not going to train yourself on how to properly put in rules in place in your house. You're not going to do it properly, and you're just going to end up hitting on your kids.
Yeah.
So I don't trust the general public to be able to be productive with discipline.
Definitely slippery slope. And I think that if you're not doing it in your home, then you probably are going to say it shouldn't be allowed in the schools. If you're ruling it out of your home, you're probably going to say to the schools, I don't want you doing it.
My father, we knew he would spank us, but he never did, because he had the rules in place, and we knew that he would follow through. So the way that his framework was in place was he never put his hands on us.
Yeah, it's a tough. You got attitudes that are shifting on that throughout the.
I think it's because you've got
country.
people with rage issues, and you've got kids showing up that are just, my parents are hitting on me, and I don't know why, because they're not doing a good job with
All
any
right.
type
The
of
next
program.
thing that people might be talking about today, permanent daylight saving time, and some lawmakers like the idea. A resolution urging Congress to allow states to opt for daylight saving time all year passed the Kentucky House yesterday. Representative Brandon Reed, sponsor of the measure, told his colleagues on the House floor it saves energy, reduces traffic injuries, crime, and helps with mental health, thus saving lives. He said several states are also involved in this effort and have gotten even more involved in recent years. Florida, Washington, Tennessee, to name a few. Reed says that he called the local school bus garage to see how bus drivers felt about the issue. They said they would prefer more sunlight at the end of the day. If you live in the central time zone, it gets dark at 4:30. With this change, it would get dark at 5:30. Yes, but it would stay dark until 7:30 in the morning, which is, kids are getting dropped off at school at that time. So here's what I would like to. I think you've heard me say this before. I'm not sure we've thought this all the way through. I think that those of us who might be prone to say, I don't like the way it makes me feel, let's just change the rules, have a tendency to rush and go, let's just stay on the same time all the time. But think it all the way through. I think we need to go through the calendar one time and go, was that a good experience, or should we go back to the way we've been doing it? And here's why. Kentucky is a very weird state. You start just west of Louisville, and then you come down and you're in the eastern time zone, and then you jog over to the west and you're in the central time zone, and then you get south of Elizabethtown and you make a hard east turn and you go all the way over to Somerset. And then you turn around Somerset, and then you go in the Eastern time zone. For those of us in Grayson County, if we were just 12 minutes to the east, we would be in another time zone. And so I don't think you can pass one time zone for Kentucky that's going to be good for everyone involved.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Because what's good for us might be bad for Hardin County. What might be good for Hardin County might be bad for Grayson County. Those are the perils of living on the line, so to speak, or having a state that's dissected by a time zone line. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm not sure that it's permanent daylight saving time.
Well, I'm more interested, like, in the farmers aspect of that.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason that we kind of did this.
Sure.
Initially.
But farmers don't really operate on a clock. Farmers operate on daylight. Whenever the daylight, we're just renaming light. That's all we're doing. It's still going to get daylight every 24 hours at the same time, whether it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. And I think a lot of farmers, today are just sort of like, well, that's the time I have to get up and start working because that's the time it becomes daylight. Another proposed bill would allow Kentucky veterinarians to report animal abuse. They're not legally allowed to do so, which I thought was odd.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. The proposed
crazy.
law, sponsored by Senator C.B. Embry from down in Morgantown, used to represent us, would allow veterinarians to report to authorities that an animal under the vet's care is being abused. Currently, Kentucky law says that vets are prohibited from reporting animal abuse unless they have the permission of the owner or the animal or under a court order.
The permission
crazy.
of the animal.
Permission of the owner of the animal or under a court order.
Oh, okay.
So I may have run that all together, but
But why do you think the owner of the animal would tell,
The
hey,
vet.
report this abuse?
maybe if
Would
it was
more than
being abused
likely-
by someone else,
Gotcha.
a vendor, or
Okay.
if you were housing a horse at some
Gotcha.
stables,
Okay.
and you thought, and
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah.
I need you to go check out my animal who's being boarded somewhere, and if they're being abused, then I need you to, like that. That is one,
Sure. That's one good
again,
example.
far-fetched, but it's a way that it could happen. I guess in the way that we talk about physicians being able to report child abuse, I guess I just assumed that, veterinarians can report, animal abuse. So that may,
It's common sense law that should have already been law.
right. That's kind of the thing. House vote awaits for controversial sports wagering bill. So we're going to hear more about that, whether sports wagering is a good thing or a bad thing. I think sports wagering was well on its way to passing. And then when our legislature found out that it opens the door to online casinos and table games and things like that, that they sort of pumped the brakes and went, wait. This was, you need to be able to put some money down on the UK U of L game, or you need to be able to bet on Major League Baseball, or you need to be able to bet on football, which is a skill involved, just like pari-mutuel wagering is involved. But if this is going to turn into, you can use an app on your phone and play roulette just like you were sitting in a casino, I think that's where some legislators went, whoa, that's a bridge too far.
But you can already do that.
You can do it offshore, certainly.
I have friends who play online betting games all the time.
That's right. Yeah, without a doubt. But the thing was, to help with pensions, we were making it more palatable to say, well, it's a skill to wager on horses on pari-mutuel and be successful and make money. It's the same way if you're betting the spread on a football game or whatever it is. But when it turns into complete games of chance, then people get a little bit less likely to pick that up and run with it, right? Also, if you can read about online, 2 Medicaid bills clear a Senate committee. Senator Steve Meredith involved in those. Kentucky names a new Public Service Commission director. Name is Kent Chandler, which I thought that they had passed a kind of an internal memo that said any of their chairpersons need to be named Bud.
Yeah, I think so.
Before you dig. I mean, it just makes sense to me. Cards won last night. Tops are going to be in action. And Pete Rose is asking again to be reinstated to Major League Baseball. Just like we should probably apologize to Gary Hart, Richard Nixon, and others in light of the steroids, sign stealing in baseball. I think and I'm not a Pete Rose fan. I loved other members of the Big Red Machine more. But I think you let Pete Rose back in once and for all. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Plenty more on the way here on In the Know.
At Litchfield Pediatrics, we don't just love our community, we love yours too. Serving surrounding counties from Warren to Hardin, our growing network of physicians and professionally trained staff provide the best in pediatric care. Now offering new online appointment requests, available 24/7 and can be accessed by visiting our Facebook page. Give us a call at 270-259-5641 or stop by our new facility located at 901 Wallace Avenue. Litchfield Pediatrics, providing the best in pediatric care.
Today, successful small businesses are lean, portable, and focused. If you're running your own business, you need to stay in tune to your customers, vendors, and employees. That doesn't leave much time for processing payroll and reporting, much less the overall performance of your business. The firm of Buckles, Travis, and Hart has a full offering of services for small businesses. Payroll processing, tax liability, unemployment, and financial reporting, just to name a few. Think of them like a built-in business manager, but they don't get sick and they don't ask for time off. Call or contact today to help get your business focused across the board. Buckles, Travis, and Hart, 270-259-5604, GraysonCPAs.com.
It's a great time of year to enroll your kids in gymnastics classes at Twin Lakes Gymnastics. Classes are offered for all ages and all skill levels. Twin Lakes Gymnastics is also the perfect place to host your next birthday party. Rent the entire gym for 2 hours for only $125. With an in-ground trampoline and foam block pit, your child and their friends are sure to have the best birthday ever. Call Jennifer at 270-589-1444 or visit TwinLakesGymnastics.com, located by the Clarkson Community Ballpark.
When caring for a family member, their state of health is continually on your mind. And when they're faced with a health concern, you'll do just about anything to make them feel better. Rest assured, their feel better starts right here at Midway Pharmacy. We take our time to get to know all about your family's health history so we can provide you with educated advice. So when someone's counting on you to help them maintain a healthy lifestyle or to overcome that untimely sickness, remember, at Midway Pharmacy.
Honey, we need more.
More what?
More discipline. I'm checking our bank statement and we really need to reel it in. I mean, who spent $170 on a monthly subscription box for gourmet pickles?
That'd be you, dear.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I know how to get us more. At Bluegrass Cellular, we can get a $200 trade-in credit toward a new smartphone. And there's more.
More?
We could get even more if it's worth more. And there's even more.
More than that?
They're offering an additional $100 credit for new line activations.
Whoa, that's at least $300. Now that's the more we need.
And think, with more moolah, we can afford your gourmet pickle subscription and our gym membership that we never use, unless you want to get rid of it.
No. We should probably use more of that, too.
Restrictions apply. Shop online or in-store. Bluegrass Cellular, your community expanded.
AT&T is continuing to roll out its 5G service to new cities. Mobile company says its low band of spectrum will now be available in a slew of smaller cities in California like Bakersfield and Santa Barbara, also in Wichita, Kansas, Boston, St. Louis, and Atlantic City. AT&T's tally of cities with 5G is now over the 30 mark. Genius has taken its popular verified video series to Apple Music. Show as artists explain the meaning behind the lyrics of their hit songs and features musicians like Billie Eilish and Lil Nas X. Episodes will now premiere on Apple's streaming platform. Genius has produced over 800 episodes of Verified since it debuted in 2016. Genius has partnerships with other streaming platforms as well, and it currently powers Spotify's Behind the Lyrics feature. Google is getting ready for this Sunday's broadcast of the Oscars with some new features. Assistant can now answer your questions about the nominees, when the show starts, and even offer up predictions for who might win. You can also get some insight into what it's like to receive an Academy Award nod from nominees through some short cameos videos. Tech Report, Larry Olson.
Well, somebody shines the light. I'm coming on home tonight now. I want to say bye-bye. Bye. Whoa. Blackbird. A blackbird.
Today is Froyo Day.
Oh, that makes me happy.
Frozen yogurt lovers unite.
I'm one of you. I'm one of you. If you have a t-shirt, I would take one.
Put your hands up. It's Ronald Reagan Day today.
I like
Tell you why
Reagan.
later in the show. And it is also Pay a Compliment Day today.
Ah, I like your shirt, Christy.
Oh, thank you.
Now, if you want to explore the edges of Pay a Compliment Day and say you'd like to drift into some what some people would call left-handed compliments or backhanded compliments, here's a couple you might try on for size. You remind me of myself when I was really young and dumb. Kind of a compliment.
Kind of, yeah.
Sorta.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see you form an opinion as you go.
It's like
Kind of a compliment.
yeah, it's like watching an invention happen.
Thank you for giving us a well-deserved rest with your absence.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good compliment. And congratulations on your attempt to sound intelligent. Also, some form of a compliment. Do you know the backhanded compliment person? Do you have these people in your life?
You occasionally give me one like, let me think here. What was the last one you gave me?
I don't recall. I didn't realize that this was
I'm
a
gonna
go-to.
scoot back.
Didn't realize this was a go-to move on my part.
No, I think just occasionally you'll say something funny.
All right. Nearly 24 Grayson County High School DECA students have earned the right to compete at state. We want to say congratulations to them. All 23 who participated also qualified for state competition, which takes place in March. You can see a photo and read all about them, all their names, at K105.com.
I love DECA.
So, good for them. I was just glancing over the list myself. I hadn't really looked through there. Some names that I recognize. Valentine's Day today. Week from today?
I say it's not today.
No, week.
Yeah.
A week from today.
From
Is it
today.
next Thursday?
A week from today.
Wow. Huh. All right. Already. Here's an option. If your Valentine does not like the sweet, like if it's doesn't go all in on the chocolate, then you might consider Red Lobster's offer for a Red Lobster Valentine's box. It's a half dozen Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Now that I could get on board with.
And you can buy them this weekend at redlobster.com for either pickup or delivery. Don't go to a Red Lobster location and try to buy them. You have to order them online, and then perhaps you can go pick them up at a local location.
Have you seen their other deals? I'm interested.
The other deals,
Yeah.
like
So,
the
lobster,
like the
and-
endless
Yeah,
all you can. No,
have the
I've not, but sounds like you have, and maybe it's
Commercials work.
Tripped your absolutely. Red Lobster's limited edition boxes are only available while supplies last. So Cheddar Bay biscuits, they're good.
They're so good.
Now this one is puzzling. People are a little bit confused, and they're talking about online. Russell Stover, again. Be careful, folks.
Yeah.
About staying in your lane. Russell Stover has rolled out sour chocolate bunnies for Easter.
I can't even.
Not sour chocolate. That sounds terrible.
Sours, blue raspberry, Russell Stover, chocolate Easter bunny. They have watermelon. They have cherry. Dear Russell Stover, I would run over to your bookcase where you have your Encyclopedia Britannicas. Grab the volume that has the P's covered and turn the page over to something called Peeps. Then rethink your decision to make sour chocolate Easter
that's
bunnies.
gross.
Or if you'd like to live in 2020, you could go to Wikipedia Peeps.
I think
Whatever
once you
you wanna
put
do.
forth the energy to go grab the volume
Yeah.
and bring it down. In my case,
I just don't know that everybody has access to the Library of Congress where the last set of encyclopedias were seen.
I would have had to have taken the volume off the stack that was holding the blanket on the TV so you could hide
so you
under
play
the
fort.
TV. Yes.
You're so right. That's
Yeah,
what we did with
we
our
made the fort
encyclopedias
with the
as well.
encyclopedias because they were heavy.
Oh, my gosh.
They would hold down our blankets
It
where
took
we
two
needed
of us
to.
to carry one over.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they were like life-size Lincoln logs.
Firefighters in New Mexico shared home security video of a dog that caused a house fire by knocking over an ironing board.
Yeah.
The Los Alamos County Fire Department shared a video showing a 9-month-old puppy putting his front paws on the ironing board inside a resident's home, causing the board and surrounding objects to fall onto a floor grate, and then was connected to the home's furnace. The heat from the grate caused some items to melt, and material traveled through the grate and entered the home's furnace, sparking the fire.
Wow, that's terrifying.
Hard to believe that could happen. It's something you want to be careful about and know when it happens. A headline says, according to a family friend of the Windsors, Prince Harry and William didn't leave on good terms, and the royal brothers' rift dates back to 2017 when William warned Harry about moving too fast with Meghan Markle.
Uh-oh.
And Harry didn't like it,
Yep.
and so they have been
Let his pride get
a
in the
little
way.
more like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Step Brothers.
Don't touch my drums.
Catalina wine mixer.
Do love that movie.
It's a good one.
Golly.
It is a good one. And PETA is being mocked for calling pet a derogatory term, suggesting companion instead.
Oh, PETA.
PETA has sparked some backlash after a spokesperson for the animal rights organization termed pet derogatory, claiming it patronizes the animal. On a daytime TV program, Good Morning Britain, Jennifer White of PETA attempted to explain the group's position on the word pet and suggested it should be switched with more inclusive terms like companion and human carer.
Stop it, PETA. PETA, you start with pet. Your whole name starts with pet.
Is in your name. But I'd like to remind everybody, whether it's a political party, whether it's a business, whether it's a civic club, whatever it is, you got to be careful about letting radicals get into your organization and doing a hard turn, left or right.
Absolutely.
Taking your organization to a level that's unrecognizable any longer to what its origins were. And this is one of those examples. It's like, really? Come on. Can we get back to something that matters? Let's get to a break. Today's water cooler question coming up here on In the Know.
Craving a sandwich with mouth-watering chicken that's full of flavor with perfectly salted fries? Well, right now you can swing by McDonald's and bite into a classic McChicken and a small order of world-famous fries for just $2 and add any size soft drink, like an ice-cold Dr. Pepper for just $1 more. Get what you crave with McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
As a child, I can remember always being excited about going to Community Trust Bank with my parents because I knew I was going to get a treat. It's funny, now that I'm married, have 2 kids, and just bought a new home, when it came time for a new home loan, I went to Community Trust Bank. I trust them and knew they'd be there for me and my family, just like they were there for Mom and Dad. And now with 79 locations, there's no reason to go anywhere else but Community Trust.
Community Trust Bank, building communities built on trust. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Battery power made by Steel. From trimmers and mowers to chainsaws and blowers, Steel battery tools are exactly what you need to tackle your to-do list. Whether you need to maintain your yard or completely transform your landscape. Battery power made by Steel. Steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot, always at a local Steel dealer. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Chris Stapleton's Concert for Kentucky, an Outlaw State of Kind benefit, April 25th, the first concert ever at Kroger Field. Chris Stapleton with special guests
on the road again.
Willie Nelson and family.
Just can't wait to get on the road
Sheryl
again.
Crow.
All I wanna do is have some fun.
And Yola. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
That boy of mine, he sure does take after me. I love football, he loves football. I put ketchup on my eggs, he puts ketchup on his. I didn't wear my seatbelt, neither did he. So nothing's gonna be the same ever again. So please, show your kids what a good driver does. Buckle up and put your phone down.
Hey, for visiting teams, the trip to the home court of the Big Blue usually ends in disaster. But for every disaster that happens off the court or field, call on the fire, water, cleanup, and restoration specialists at 1-800-SERVPRO, SERVPRO.com. That's where you'll find the team that's faster to any size disaster, thanks to 27 locations across Kentucky. So when fire or water threatens your home or business, call on the Big Green Vans at 1-800-SERVPRO. Go Big Blue, 1-800-SERVPRO. Franchises are independently owned and operated.
K105 Weather is brought to you by Future Designs Building Materials on Quarry Road in Litchfield.
We'll keep the drizzle, light rain, and clouds in the forecast for today as we warm into the upper 30s and the low 40s. For this evening into tonight, some snow in our forecast. We will be seeing some accumulations across the area as temperatures fall down into the 20s by Friday morning. From the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
'Cause when the loving starts and the lights go down, there's not another living soul around.
Did you know 1 in 20 people have an extra rib?
I've been checked. No, I'm good.
Are you sure?
1 in 20?
Check me.
I think you do have an extra rib, honey.
Are you sure?
I was gonna say you may be the 1 in 20 of this group.
All right, we'll do it later.
I thought you knew this. Yeah, it's on your right side. It's right there.
Well, I was going to ask if this was predominantly men, and does that mean they don't have a companion?
No. I think this is a bonus. I think somewhere along the way you picked up 2 extra because you do have one more than I really do. I thought we had this discussion before and you knew this. I didn't think this was
a little bit familiar, but weird.
I didn't think this was going to come to you as a surprise.
How many ribs are we supposed to have?
I'm not certain if there were only a way to find out. But she's got an extra. 270-259-6000.
You know she has an extra. It's not like a toe where you can see it.
Oh, he counts.
You count ribs?
270-259-6000. I don't think we want to have this conversation.
Actually, I do.
During a break, we can have this conversation.
How do I know is what's rib and what's fat?
270-259-6000. If you've not won in the last 30 days and you're 18 years of age or older, you qualify to win. Up for grabs today, a Tootsie Roll Company candy Valentine's Day basket. And what is it? 2 tickets to the Sweetheart Dance out at the Rough River Dam State Resort Park on February 15th. 2 tickets to the dance. That's a $40 value plus the basket. So nice little prize today. If you know this, 12 out of 100 people cannot recall this. 12 out of 100 people cannot recall this. What is it? 270-259-6000. 270-259-6000. 12 out of 100 people cannot recall this. Bee-bom, 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 bee. Oscars are this weekend. I'd forgotten. The Grammys were early, then Super Bowl Sunday. Now the Oscars are this weekend. $149 million is what ABC will earn in ad revenue for airing the Oscars this Sunday. $130 million is the annual economic boost that Los Angeles sees from hosting the Oscars. 29.6 million, that was the average number of viewers for the 2019 Academy Awards. That was up 12%. $15 million is the average increase in box office sales for a Best Picture winner. And I read that the statues, the 24-karat gold-plated Oscar statuette, is only worth $400. I mean, it's priceless to the people that win it, but the statues themselves, only $400, which I thought was a little odd.
Just gold-plated?
Gold-plated. And then this stood out to me, 52. Film composing legend John Williams broke his own record, receiving his 52nd Oscar nomination for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker score. He has the most career nominations of any living person. When it's all said and done, John Williams belongs up there next to Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. He is, I mean, it's the composer of our time. Let's go to Charlotte. Good morning, Charlotte. How are you?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. 12% of people cannot recall this.
Social Security number.
Social Security number is not what we're looking for. Let's go to Mary. What's your guess, Mary?
Their spouse's birthday.
Their spouse's birthday
what I
is not what we're looking for. Keep trying. Let's go to Joan. What's your guess, Joan?
Anniversary.
Anniversary is. Let's go to Mark. What's your guess, Mark?
Parents' birthday.
Parents' birthday? Is that what it was? That is not what we're looking for. Let's go to Xavier.
Their phone number.
Their phone number is not what we're looking for. Think of the month that we're in, the season that we're celebrating. That might help you
Oh, do I have it?
hone in on. Yes, as a matter of fact, you do. You do have it.
Oh, very good.
270-259-6000. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom are having a spring wedding, according to a source.
Okay.
We're going to be getting some good company. It looks like they'll be getting married in April. So, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, Hitchville.
I like it.
Come in April. Adele's 21 album. You know, she numbers hers. She had 19, 21, 25. We expect her next one will be 30. Her album 21. So this is Someone Like You, Set Fire to the Rain. It has crossed yet another milestone. It is currently number 150 on the Billboard 200 album chart and has now spent 450 consecutive weeks on that chart. Her album has been in the top 200 albums for 450 weeks.
Wow. That's well deserved, though.
That's very impressive. She includes company now: Journey's Greatest Hits, Nirvana's Nevermind, Bob Marley, Metallica's album, Bruno Mars' debut album. The record, though, is held at 949 consecutive weeks by Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
That's
Pink
about
Floyd
right.
was in the chart for 949 consecutive
But you think it would have been
weeks.
Michael Jackson or...
Yeah, he was. Michael's in there somewhere, but he doesn't hold the record. Mary, what's your guess?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day is not what we're looking for. Let's go to Jane. What's your guess, Jane?
Leap year.
Leap year is not what we're looking for. Joan P. What's your guess, Joan?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Not what we're looking for. Josh, what's your guess?
The first person they kissed.
First person they kissed is correct, Amundo. Yep. The name of the person who gave them their first kiss.
I know mine.
12% of people cannot remember. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Josh.
it's my husband.
Have fun dancing at the state park and your Valentine's Day basket. Hold on. Going to get some information from you.
But don't tell him.
Misty guessed the correct answer.
She did.
Honey, what did you write down?
The only one I wrote down was losing a tooth.
Losing a tooth. Oh, yeah, that sometimes would be
Well,
easily
and you know my
forgettable.
day, so
Yeah, absolutely.
thinking about kids going to the dentist.
Sure. You know, we're getting a lot of TV show reboots.
Yes, because we've run out of content, apparently.
Right, there are apparently no original
There's-
stories any longer.
There's
We're just
nothing left to write. We've written it all, so now we've got to redo it all.
Some people will tell you all of our stories go back to Shakespeare or beyond anyway. It's all triumph over good and evil type stuff. But I would like to take popular TV shows and then if we rebooted them, but into the 1800s.
Okay, yes.
Okay? So if we were to reboot some successful TV shows into the 1800s, you might get SpongeBob Square Pantaloons.
Okay, very good.
You know, in the
not opposed to
1800s, we wore pantaloons, not just pants. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, but probably still not going to let my kids watch that.
Full Outhouse.
I do love the Full Outhouse.
I mean, the Tanners were on
Yes.
Full House.
Yes.
If the 1800s, they would be Full Outhouse.
Yes, I like it a lot.
The Wagon Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, I do love Wagon Wheel of Fortune.
I think that would be popular. I mean,
That's fun.
Vanna wearing a hoop skirt.
Yes, please. For the love.
Orange is the New Blacksmith.
Okay, all right.
That makes sense. Saved by the Alexander Graham Bell.
I love that one too.
Better Telegraph Saul. I mean, you couldn't call Saul then. That 1870s show.
Very good.
I mean, you know that 70s show,
Yeah.
but set it in the 1870s instead. and the Gold Rush Girls. Not the Golden Girls, as we know
that
it.
would be fun.
The Gold Rush of
Yes.
1849.
I
That
think I
would
like
be
it a
more
lot.
fun.
Let's do those.
You know, you get B. Arthur and everybody involved. We're going to get to a break. We'll come back. Today's Point to Ponder, Pearl of Wisdom, Chart Toppers, and more coming up here on In the Know.
Weddings don't always go as planned. Just ask Brittany and Sean Toohey. They spent 11 months planning their special day. They booked a venue in Spokane, Washington for late September and planned nearly the entire event to be outdoors. The changing fall colors would be a perfect backdrop for their wedding photos. For months, the weather in Spokane was warm and sunny, but a week before the wedding, the sunshine turned to dark clouds and rain. The morning of the wedding, the rain turned to snow. Nearly 20 guests canceled because of the weather. The bride almost lost her veil in the wind, and one of the bridesmaids slipped and did a faceplant right in the snow. The wedding was nearly a disaster. I say nearly because Brittany and Sean refused to let the inclement weather ruin their special day. Instead of a backdrop of fall colors, their photos were taken in a winter wonderland. The important thing, they realized, wasn't their wedding day, it was their marriage. Not only do weddings not always go as planned, neither do marriages. Every relationship is a journey into whiteout conditions. There are twists and turns and unknowns that couples never see coming. Good marriages aren't good because they're perfect or because they never face obstacles. They're good because couples love each other and keep their relationship a top priority, even when things don't go as planned. To help your marriage thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
Battery power made by Steel. From trimmers and mowers to chainsaws and blowers, Steel battery tools are exactly what you need to tackle your to-do list. Whether you need to maintain your yard or completely transform your landscape. Battery power made by Steel. Steel is not sold at Lowe's or the Home Depot, always at a local Steel dealer. Real Steel. Find yours at SteelDealers.com. Lowe's and the Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
Chris Stapleton's Concert for Kentucky, an Outlaw State of Kind benefit, April 25th, the first concert ever at Kroger Field. Chris Stapleton with special guests
On the road again,
Willie Nelson and family,
just can't wait to get on the road
Sheryl
again.
Crow,
All I wanna do is have some fun.
and Yola. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
Moms will do anything to keep their kids safe. That's why every time we get in the car, even if it's just to the corner groceries, we play the seatbelt game. Whoever fastens her seatbelt first wins. Usually it's Sarah. I call her the fastest click in Kentucky. Her big brother may get his pride bruised, but at least I know we're all safe. Be safe, Kentucky. Buckle up and put the phone down.
Now it's easier than ever to save big on a great night's sleep. During the free and easy sale at Sleep Outfitters, get a free box spring with any Stearns & Foster or Sealy Innerspring mattress priced at $4.99 and up to a $300 value, yours free. You'll also get a free sleep bundle with your Stearns & Foster or Tempur-Pedic mattress, up to a $300 value, free. Plus, take 50% off a Sealy Reflection 4 adjustable base while they last. Only at the free and easy sale at Sleep Outfitters.
We're chasing time, gotta find peace of mind and understand that maybe we never can.
MB's Point to Ponder for today. Did we properly check to see what all foods would be better exploded, or did we stop at corn?
Oh, yeah. So what if there's like a pop bean?
Right. Like, are there beans that it would be better to put, like, in a bag in the microwave?
With butter.
Absolutely. And salt. And should we have tried that?
I think
Or did
we
we just
should.
stop at corn going, we've solved all of the world's problems?
We really did. So we're on a popcorn kick at our house.
Mhm.
So the kids, we have a couple extra kids in the afternoon that hang out.
Yep.
Everybody, and they're adults. So we pop 3 bags of popcorn every afternoon.
Mhm.
So then I've been bringing it to work, popping it.
Yep. I've been having a little more popcorn the last few
Yep.
months too.
Yep.
You know,
Popcorn
it's a
too.
good snack, kind of low calorie, something that's
Yeah,
like
it's very
good,
fulfilling.
but it's not very dense.
So good warm.
But it made me wonder, did we properly explore everything else? I mean,
I don't know.
What about popped T-bone?
Now we do have the popped rice, that makes the rice cake. So again, a win because I like
Is that
rice
puffed
cakes.
rice?
Uh-huh.
Is
So
the
that
rice
would be
cakes
like
are puffed rice?
Right. So it would be the
Okay.
same concept.
All right.
I mean, what if
Gotcha.
we popped fruit? I mean,
Pop goes the weasel, because the weasel
goes pop.
goes pop. On TV tonight, the premiere of Edie Falco's new show on CBS called Tommy. So, Miss Buckles, you in or you out on Tommy?
I think I want to try.
Okay.
And that's my best
Yep.
answer,
I know she's on, Nurse Jackie?
which I love.
Yeah, on Netflix most recently.
And I'm currently watching Sopranos.
Yeah, you went
so-
back and picked up The Sopranos, so you're just
But
like
I'll tell you, it's the best thing to go to sleep to.
the triumvirate of the
you can't get into
triumvirate of
it?
Edie Falco.
No,
So
you can't.
she plays a New York cop who moves to Los Angeles to become the chief of police and the first female chief of the LAPD. So that's what she's doing. Brooklyn Nine-Nine season 7 premiere on NBC tonight. That's what you have to look forward to. Today's highlight in history. This date in 2003, edging closer to war, President George W. Bush declared the game is over for Saddam Hussein. Aaron Burr was born this date in 1756. He's America's third vice president. Ronald Wilson Reagan was born this date in 1911 in Tampico, Illinois. My favorite American president.
Mm-hmm.
I love Washington and Lincoln and like all the... Ronald Reagan, my favorite president of all time.
I like Reagan.
And you get a lot of people say, well, why is that? So I was 9 during the 1980 election. We had had a fuel crisis. We had had hostages in Iran. And President Reagan came on the scene and seemingly in the eyes of a 9-year-old, I guess an 8-year-old, I would have turned 9 later in 1980, that it seemed like President Reagan stepped up and he made, patriotism and, red, white, and blue, and everything was grand, and the hostages came home, and
Tear down that wall.
I could tell like people around me, adults were talking like they just
Yeah.
felt better about
Yeah.
the world, and I thought, wow.
That was probably the tear down the wall. That whole thing was probably the first political engagement of my life that I remember actually stopping and paying attention to the news.
Yeah.
And him saying that if I go back and really think, when did I really pay attention to real time news? That would have been it.
It also
I was
doesn't
old
hurt
enough
that I
then.
got to go to his second inauguration in
Right.
Washington, D.C.,
Mhm.
and then later go to Epcot and march in front of the presidential viewing stand that he was in.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably also helps, Matt.
obviously changed your life and shaped who you are.
Today's birthdays, Mike Farrell is 81, Tom Brokaw is 80, Kathy Najimy is 63, Axl Rose is 58, Rick Astley is 54.
Axl Rose is what?
58.
Don't say it again.
Right.
Oh,
They're going to tour this summer, by the
cuts
way.
like a knife.
Also learned this morning the Stones are coming to Louisville June
Yeah.
14th.
I wonder if it's still Paradise City or Nursing Home City. Like,
It's
where's
also
he
my
at
mother's
in that?
birthday today.
I was
It's your
just
mother's
about
birthday?
to mention
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
mother-in-law
Oh.
is under 60 years of age today.
That is true.
Happy birthday, Christy's Mama Teresa.
She's the Mighty T.
Mighty T. That's
Yeah,
right.
we got-
That's right. That's right. Mama
We
Tita and
got,
Mighty T.
Tita Mama
Tita Mama.
and the Mighty T.
I never
That's
get it
what we got.
right. To all the Teresas, happy birthday.
Teresa Murphy is less than 60 today. That's all I can say.
Very good.
I'm not allowed to say any more than that. Gone but not forgotten. Aaron Burr. I mentioned Aaron Burr. Babe Ruth in 1895. Thurl Ravenscroft. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. The voice of the Grinch. 1914. Zsa Zsa Gabor in 1917. Could I interest you in a chart topper?
Ah. You got a soda to go with it.
1958. The Silhouettes. It didn't hurt that President Reagan had also been a movie star.
This is true.
It certainly helped. Let's go to 1967.
Love is only true in the fairy tale.
A ragtag group of young men
For someone else, but not for me.
with long hair.
Yeah, it wasn't long.
But from the United States, it was long by standards then.
Yes, that's the way it seems.
It's no man bun.
Disappointment haunted.
No, it's not a man bun.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
Written by Neil Diamond, coincidentally.
Yeah, it sounds like a Neil Diamond song.
Mm-hmm, absolutely does. Let's go to 1976. Hot chocolate. Those of us who grew up in the 80s or later have the full Monty to thank for knowing this song. I mean, we weren't really listening to it on the radio in 76.
No.
One of us was 5. One of us was 2 weeks from being born.
Yes. One of us was still in utero. What is it?
One
Intro.
of us
In
was-
utero.
In
utero.
I'm not
I
even
don't
in
think so.
utero yet.
No,
I think
not
that's-
even a thought.
You were in utero.
No, I was in utero.
You were in utero. 1985. Got some hot sax in the beginning
You
of that
really
song.
do have hot sax with that
The
song.
sax
or in that
solo
song,
that we
yes.
all wanted to learn to play. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we all that played saxophone wanted to learn to play.
Yep.
Probably trumpet people didn't want to learn to play that.
No, we didn't.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
1994.
Cause I'm your lady.
Where to goodness, I sound just like her in the shower.
Or
Not
the
so
car.
much the car. Not so much the car, but the shower. It must be the
Showered
water.
because of the acoustics in the water. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. It really
If
gives
you've
me
ever
perfect
seen her
pitch.
do the Titanic number with her water fountain, you'll know why it's better in the shower.
Oh, very
the
good.
acoustics of the water.
Perfect pitch in the shower for me.
I kind of wish she'd go back to Vegas, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, she needs to get out of the clothing industry, that's for sure. Guess sideways, like she and I are going to not be friends anymore.
17 years ago today. Justin Timberlake. And Cry Me a River. You've heard that song before, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And because we were talking about her album 21 earlier, Adele was number 1 8 years ago today. Was Set Fire to the Rain.
I let it fall.
MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today
You rose to claim it.
comes from Ronald Wilson Reagan, born this date in 1911. President Reagan said, "Life is just one grand, sweet song." So start the music. Life is just one grand, sweet song. So start the music. MB's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Misty Thomas, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
Powered by Heritage Media of Kentucky, WKHG Litchfield, Kentucky, USA. 104.9 FM, the Twin Lakes Best Mix, K105. Your news starts